it's a very serious matter. I don't believe that it is something that we can let pass very quietly. It's something that every Guyanese should be concerned about. We're talking about the permanent secretary, the accountable officer for one of the most important ministries, our Ministry of Home Affairs, that has to do with our national security, that has to do with our domestic security, that has to do with our police force, work permits, immigration matters. And so for her to be detained and her cell phone confiscated and her visa revoked really is a serious matter. Now, what is of concern to me is that this morning in the National Assembly, we attempted to ask very important questions about this matter so that the public can obtain the clarifications that they needed. And the Speaker, of course, standing on some ridiculous procedural requirement, refused once again to allow those questions to be posed. In fact, like I pointed out to him in my speech, he could have done me as an MP the courtesy of reading the entire mail that was sent to him. Instead, he picked out the last two sentences to say that we were purporting to instruct him as the Speaker. But we all understand that we really are in the nadir of our parliamentary democracy, and so we couldn't expect anything differently from the Speaker. Again, you see the government obfuscating, you see them trying to hide information from the people of Guyana. But I'm sure that in the coming days, we will be hearing from the U.S. authorities as to exactly why the permanent secretary was detained. The questions that we had for the minister was whether the PS was on official duties. It has since come out in the public space that she wasn't, which means the next question that we are to ask is, if she wasn't on official duties, why was she then traveling on a diplomatic passport? And if she was not on official duties, was she going to holiday in the destination country? There are just so many more questions than there are answers. But what I do know is that the instructions or the decision to detain a senior functionary of member state to the Vienna Convention is not something that is done on a whim and a fancy. So it's something that we have to monitor very carefully.
Thank you, MP Walton-Desir, for putting that into context for us. What this nation has, the information that came to the fore of the nation over the last weekend. During the course of the National Assembly, Priya Manichan seemed to took umbrage with the fact that you had a word or two missing, to the point of highlighting that on social media. There's been official silence from the government on a whole, officially, on this issue of one of their permanent secretaries having her phone confiscated, being detained by U.S. authority, having her visa summarily revoked as well. I mean, are they focused on the right things?
I think Priya just wants attention, and she will get none from me. I think they're trying their level best to detract from the fact that over the last 48 hours, 72 to 48 hours, the Guyanese people have been seeing who the real riggers are. We've been seeing it, and so they're clutching at all kinds of imaginary straws to try to divert the attention of the people of Guyana away from the fact that they have been buying signatures, they have been forging signatures. Dead people have signed on their nomination forms. People who were not even in the jurisdiction at the time of the form being signed, their names and their ID cards and alleged signatures appear on these nomination forms. And so they are in desperation mode. When Barrett Jagdeo would have had to apologize for a woman who is deceased, her name appearing on their list, you must know how far we have sunken. And even his apology is insufficient. Whoever did that should be charged for fraud, because I guarantee you, were that somebody on our side, they would have been hauled before the courts a long time ago. But Barjagdio believes that he can do all of this mischief and get away with it. And we must not allow them to get away with this. They must respect our vote. They must respect our democratic right to choose. Look, right now, we are in Parliament and we're getting reports that in Belladrum, they're paying people $20,000 to put their signatures and their names on their lists. $20,000. They're literally using the monies from the natural resource fund to buy votes. To buy votes. And
Interesting
that is
times
the
indeed.
state that we have descended into. And so the likes of Manik Chand and her ilk, they will simply seek to pull us into petty juvenile arguments. But we're not going to be deterred. We are focused on the fact that the facts are being revealed, that they really are the ones who have engaged in massive electoral fraud. We said it in 2020, and we are now seeing it laid bare for the last 72 hours.
With that said, MP Walton-Desir, the Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Ben, in an article with Demara Waves, he has said that May stays on the job. Now, through the minister, they said they were waiting on a report when she gets back. The nation has not had the privilege of reading that report, getting the essence of it to find out exactly what happened in the U.S. that would, cause the Americans to confiscate a passport, detain, and revoke a visa. But he says she's staying on the job. Make sense of that for Guyanese, if any sense can be
There's
made of
no
it.
sense to be made of it. What you're seeing is the arrogance of a government that believes that they need to double down even when they are wrong. And they've gotten accustomed to being able to double down on just misconduct. And they've been allowed to get away with it for too long. But we're saying no more. It has to stop. In any properly functioning government or ministry, if such serious allegations are made, that person is interdicted from duty pending a full and complete investigation. So for the minister to declare, without even knowing, as they say they don't, the reason for such serious action by another sovereign state against a senior functionary of our state is really symptomatic of the fact that they're out of touch, they're out of tune, and they just intend to continue with their mafia-like behavior.